Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the SideLine Speaks with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network. What's going on, K Walk and Jay?
All is well. All is well. Looking forward to a great one, guys.
Yeah, everything's good. K Walk's got that heat hat on tonight. I know he's hoping his squad closes it out. So we got a
Let's
lot of
do
good
it. Let's
stuff to
do it.
talk about.
They better close it out.
Sir. Sir.
But we'll talk about that, I guess, a little bit later. Because if not, we got some questions going on here. But anyway, you guys ready to talk some sports?
Yeah, let's
Let's
do it.
do it.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I'm glad to be back. I was out last week for some business reasons. But for those who are watching us, first and foremost, thank you for watching us on YouTube. We're also on Twitter, Twitch, at the SideLine Speaks. Please check us out. Share, like, comment, subscribe. The Sideline Speaks, youtube.com/the Sideline Speaks. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Jay, did I get them all down
You
right?
got him, Britt. You nailed it.
All right.
You nailed
All
it.
right. There's so many out there. It's just like, whoa. All right, guys, let's get into it. So first, I know we're gonna get into the playoffs. We know basketball is coming to an end. We know the Nuggets just won Western Conference Finals. We got the Heat Celtics tonight at 8:30, Game 4. Celtics is trying not to get swept. Trying to figure out how I feel about that one.
Go
Please,
Heat.
go Heat. I'm a Heat fan today. But I want to talk about players who could potentially be in the Hall of Fame. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a players, and you tell me whether you think they should be in the Hall of Fame or not. This is kind of in honor of one person recently retiring. It was a big question of whether or not this person should be in the Hall of Fame or not. We did talk about this previously. So you know what? Let's start off with this guy, Carmelo Anthony. Should he be in the Hall of Fame or not? Jay, I'm gonna come to you first.
Yeah, for me, that's the easy one, Britt. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
definite yes. I mean, not only
Mm-hmm.
did Carmelo have a really good NBA career, but you mentioned in the text thread the other day, it's not just the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame and what he did in
Right.
college, the success that he's had on some Olympic teams. For me, I think it's a no-brainer. Like if Carmelo's not in the Hall of Fame, then there's going to be a whole bunch of people we need to go down that list
Mm-hmm.
and remove them from the Hall of Fame. So for me, this is an easy one. Carmelo definitely should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree. I really think sometimes people forget, even if it's just the NBA, there's plenty of people in the NBA that have not won a chip.
Yeah.
Um, Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson. I keep going on and on and on. Carmelo was a great player when he was in Denver. He was their top scorer. He was their their
Yeah.
superstar when they had nobody. So NBA, absolutely. I know he didn't win a whole lot of accolades, but I think he's ninth in total points in NBA history, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
amazing. And then, like Jay alluded to, what he did at Syracuse was amazing. The only player in NBA history to have 3 gold medals, which is, I think he has a bronze too. Unfortunately, Allen Iverson never got that. That was the year Allen Iverson was playing because Kobe didn't go. So he absolutely deserves to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. But K Walk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I just, you know what? I always say that the NBA is the most lenient when it comes to the Hall of Fame. And why I say that is that there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that are that I believe that shouldn't be in there. But you made a great point, Brett. I keep forgetting the fact that when it comes to the NBA Hall of Fame, it's all about the college as well, just the body and the body of work in general. And I keep forgetting that. I always think about when you talk about the NBA Hall of Fame, immediately comes to my mind is what they did in the NBA. I forget
Mm-hmm.
that what they did I forget what they did in college. Um, and with that being said, Carmelo Anthony, what he did as a freshman to lead that Syracuse team to a national championship was phenomenal. It was a great feat in
Mm-hmm.
itself. And like you mentioned, I was trying to look up the all time leading scorers here, see where he ranks at. Um, but Yeah, he's definitely. I think the more and more I think about it, and the more you have to factor all of that into it. Carmelo is a Hall of Famer. The NBA they judge their Hall of Famers differently. They judge their inductees differently, obviously, than the NFL. Obviously, MLB, Major League Baseball.
Mhm.
That's a tough road to hoe there. But and even National Hockey League as well. So yeah, I think Carmelo is deserving of that based on what he did in college and his accolades as far as him scoring as much as he did
Mhm.
in the NFL. I mean, in NFL, NBA, and especially what he did for the Knicks as well, and even the Nuggets as well. I think he had
Right.
a strong career with the Nuggets as well.
Yeah, I think because like you said, NFL is the NFL Hall of Fame, but this is
Hmm.
basketball. This is the
Yeah.
James Naismith Hall of Fame, and there's high school coaches that made it to the
Hmm.
basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
People who didn't even play in the pros, didn't coach in the pros, they played on a high school level, or I'm sorry, they coached on a high school level, or just played college level.
Yeah.
They're in the basketball Hall of Fame. So yeah, because of that, yes, I think he absolutely deserves to be a Hall of Famer as well. Next person. So some of these guys are fairly young, so you got to predict what you think their career would be like. And again, college, and then some of these guys are on the verge of retirement. Let's see, Anthony Day to Day Davis, Hall of Fame or not? K Walk, I'm coming to you first.
Mm, mm.
All right, I
His play
did.
is day to
I
day
don't.
too.
Yeah, so for sure, for sure. Did he win a national championship with Kentucky? I don't think he did. He?
No,
I don't recall it.
no,
No.
they didn't win it. Nope.
All right. So
Mm-mm.
with that being, but you know what? Wow, man, it's so hard with the NBA, man. It really is. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. To answer your question, I'm still going to factor all that in. I'm going to say I know he's got a couple years left in him, but if his career were to end today, then no. But
Mhm.
he's got to win he's got to win a championship for me. He's got to win a championship for me in order to get into the NBA for sure.
He's got the bubble chip though, K Walk.
He do had a bubble chip. Does that count?
That's an asterisk in a lot of people's minds. So I'm not. I guess as a Heat fan, I have to count that because if that, I would just be discrediting into the Heat getting there. I still don't think he gets in, man. I still don't think he gets in. I don't know what it is about Anthony. I guess with the nickname of Anthony Data Davis, it's tough to give him that nod, but I think he'll get in. Me, I don't believe he gets in, but I think he will get in.
He is a top 75 player of all
Yeah,
Yeah,
time
that's what
too.
I'm
yeah,
saying.
So
I think he'll
yeah.
get
that
in, but if you're
counts.
asking me, he's not, and that's why I say the NBA is it's so watered down for me when it comes to the Hall of Fame. It really is watered down for me. I can't take that serious. I don't know what it is when I see some of these players. Like I know people want to get on to me about this, but Tracy McGrady I believe he's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he? Am I correct?
I'm not
Mm,
sure. I
no,
wouldn't be
not yet.
All right.
surprised if he was in at all.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
gotta
he
look
is
at it. Let
yet.
me. Yeah, okay, so if that's the case, then I think maybe people were lobbying for that. But anyway, there's some other guys. I didn't look it up. I should have done my homework on this, guys. But yeah. Still, with that being said, I'm gonna say AD, and there's a lot of guys out there that should not be in there right now. But like you said, Britt, we're talking about the NBA, and nah. I'm saying no right now. AD does not belong in those. If you talk about the Hall of Fame, you talk about the greatest of all time, man, and the players: MJ, Shaq, Magic. I mean, he doesn't belong. I know he's top 75, but somebody had to be there, right? Top 75. So I guess based off of that, he has to be in there.
Me, no, I don't think he's done enough. He's never, I mean,
Okay.
outside of bubble chip, he never, no
Top
scoring
75 doesn't get him in
titles.
there.
It probably will, but in my
That's what I'm
opinion, I
saying.
don't think he'll get. I don't
Okay,
think he'll
thank you.
get it still,
Thank you,
even if he
Brett.
is top 75.
You don't think
I
he'll
don't think.
get in, or you don't think he belongs in? Because there's a difference
I
there.
don't think he'll belongs in, and I'm gonna say
Okay.
I don't think he'll get in. I just don't think
Wow.
he's
Okay.
done enough. I
Okay.
just feel
I
like
agree.
I'm not even sure if he should have been top 75. And, he was one
Definitely
of the
agree with that.
ones who said, what about a Tracy McGrady? We know for sure Tracy McGrady is not top 75. We know for sure, players like a Dwight Howard and a couple other players that should have been top 75. I know people are looking at Dwight Howard as of now, But a young Dwight Howard with the
For
Magic, he
sure.
was very dominant. Should have been the top 75. So I don't think Anthony Davis should get in. I mean, and like I said earlier, injury, he's day to day. In play, he is day to day. So never won an MVP, never won no sort of, I don't remember last, what accolade has he gotten? Maybe a couple All-Stars. That's about it. But Jay, Hall of Fame or not?
This is a good one because I feel everything you guys are saying. Like, and for me, I don't think I would put him in, but I actually do think he's going to get in. I think being on that top 75 list, which I agree with you, Britt, I don't necessarily think he should be on that list, but he is on it. So I think that's going to certainly help his case. He does have the one championship where a lot of people feel like he was the lead dog on that team in the bubble, not necessarily LeBron. So he sort of caught lightning in a bottle in the bubble. I don't love it. I wouldn't put him in, but I do think it's going to be hard to keep him out, especially when you consider some of the other names that are already in. It's going to be hard to keep him out. I think he gets in.
Yeah. Well, I
Can't
guess
argue with that, Jay. I can't argue.
you
with
can't,
that.
you can't, because
I
it is the
can't.
truth. So we will definitely see. All right, let's go with a couple young guys here that's nowhere near retirement, but based off their game. You know what? Let's go with Ja Morant. Do you think he is a future Hall of Famer or not? Jay, I'm coming to you first on this one.
I'll tell you, like when I saw that beam that 2K suspended him, I could not help but laughing at that. Him just sitting over there in that little suit. It's so funny. But Britt, I don't know. I'm gonna say, man, obviously talent-wise, he has all the talent in the world. If he can stay on the court, I don't think there's any question that his game is Hall of Fame worthy. But there's just so many question marks right now. I mean, he could be facing a lengthy suspension this year. Mm-hmm. Who knows if he's ever going to get his head screwed on right and get this whole thing figured out. So I think talent-wise, yes. But up to this point, Britt, some of the stuff that I've seen off the court, I'm going to say no right now just because there's just so much going on. I'm going to say no for Ja Morant.
You know what? I'm gonna keep this short and brief. I know he's young and he's doing a lot of craziness, but he still has time to turn things around. As long as he turns things around, his talent and his play, I'm going to say yes. If he doesn't, that's on him. But right now, I'm going to say yes, just based off his skill, talent, and his potential. But K-Walk, your thoughts?
That's fair.
Yeah, to keep it brief, I agree with you, Britt, and Jay as well. As of right now, no. I mean, you can't even think about him even possibly playing in the league the next year, let alone being in the Hall of Fame. So, I'm going to say as of right now, no. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out on a limb right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say that Ja Morant gets it done off the court. He gets it right. He surrounds himself around the right people. I think, we always say, you get a second chance sometimes. I mean, a second chance. Sometimes you get a third chance. I believe that he's going to surround himself. And I think a lot of these guys, like older guys, like a Shaq, like a Charles Barkley, I think some of those guys will step in because we all alluded to it that he has a great talent and we're talking about him possibly being in the Hall of Fame. So with that being said, I think he's going to do the right thing and he's going to get it done. How long that's going to take, I don't know for sure. I think he does need that year off though. I do still believe that he needs a year off from away from the game, away from him getting paid, because I think that's going to show some livelihood. But with all that being said, I'm going to say as of right now, no, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. All right. Couple more and then we'll move on. This one was interesting to me because this guy, very talented, and injuries kind of messed him up. But he was a one-time MVP. I think at one point, the youngest MVP ever in the history of the league. My guy, I was a huge fan of him, Derrick Rose. Does he get into the Hall of Fame? K-Walk, I'm going to come to you first.
I'll keep this brief, guys. I was going a little heavy-winded on the last one, but no, I'm going to go. I'm going to go no, because I think everything you mentioned, Britt, is just the injuries. I just think that his injuries, plagued his career, and that means a Hall of Fame career as well. So I'm going to say no based off of that.
Jay,
man, this is tough. I kind of want to say yes because didn't he lead Memphis to a. Did they win an NCAA championship or maybe got to the championship game? I know it might have got vacated later, but I feel like
they lost. It was that Kansas?
Pretty good college career. Those Nick years, like when he was healthy, I mean, you could make the argument that he was the best player in the league, or at least the top 3 or 4 best players in the league. So I know injuries kind of cut his career short, so to speak, in terms of production. But I think his best years were really, really good. I think I'm going to give him a yes. I'm going to say yes.
Wow, this is hard. I mean, this is, if we give him a yes, Jay, that's rough for the NBA for Hall of Fame, man.
And this is so hard because of how much potential, how skilled he was. He was super athletic. He just led his team. He was the best team in the Bulls at the time. He really was. Then he got hurt. Then he was out for a little bit. Then he went to the Knicks. He played very well for the Knicks. He wasn't quite the same type of player, but he was still great in its own right. And then he just kind of more injuries, kind of just derailed his career even more. But he did get the MVP. And that's the thing. So we saying Anthony Davis got top 75. He was the MVP back in 2011. So I'm going to say because of his college career, I'm going to say because of his early NBA career, I'm going to say yes. It's a little rough.
Handing out Hall of Fame inductees.
That's like what they do.
Halloween candy. You got to say trick or treat right now, and you get a Hall of Fame inductee.
But I'm going to say, look, if we're giving it to Anthony Davis, then in my mind, you got to give it to Derrick Rose.
I'm not giving it to Anthony
Davis. I'm not, but we know odds are they probably are. So based off of that, and Jay made some valid points with Anthony Davis, I'm going to say yes, Hall of Fame. All right, let's see. Last one. Let's go with a big guy. We haven't really talked about a big guy yet. I guess Anthony Davis, but not that big. Rudy Gobert. Does he get into the Hall of Fame or not? Defensive Player of the Year. Don't do that, K-Walk. Defensive Player of the Year. Look, people say he's one of the greatest defenders in the last so many years. So, Jay, I'm gonna come to you first. I'm gonna have K-Walk go last.
Look, man, I hate to do it, but I gotta say yes again, Britt, because look, man, this guy is known for being one of the best defenders. He's got some Defensive Players of the Year, multiple ones, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think when it's all said and done, Rudy's going to get in, K-Walk. He's going to get in. The standards just aren't that high, man. I'm looking at some of the guys in it right now, K-Walk. I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of them. So I think Rudy's going to get in, man. I think he's in.
I think no. I'm going to say no. Look. Look, I don't even think he's that great of a defender. He's good when you're going up against, I guess, if you can stand in the paint. If the NBA gets rid of that 3-second defensive rule, he'd probably be the greatest defender to ever live, right? But you bring him out on the perimeter or anywhere close to the perimeter, he is useless. He can't do anything. He's not a scorer. He rebounds somewhat. To be so big and long, he can rebound a little bit. I think he's just okay. I've always thought that. He's just a big body down low. So I'm going to say no. But K-Walk, your thoughts?
Jay, you said his standards aren't that high, but, they're, wow. I mean, they're I don't know how low you can get before you can get high in this situation. But let me ask you this, Jay. Where do you have Rudy Gobert right now as the top centers in the league, right? In the league today?
In the league today? Centers? Yeah. I mean, he's obviously going to be behind Embiid and Joker. But who else are there? I mean, I can't really think of that many NBA centers.
Would you?
He's behind.
You know what? Let me ask you. All right, let me big man.
Right?
We'll call him big man. We'll call him big.
Definitely put him behind.
All right. Would you put him behind? Would you put him behind AD?
Yeah,
I would put him behind AD. Just offensively, obviously, AD's a lot better. Okay. And AD defends as well. So yeah, he's behind AD. Yeah.
All right. So that puts him where? Fifth?
That puts him fifth.
He's behind Giannis.
He's not even.
If we count
Giannis, okay, let's go with Giannis.
He's behind Giannis.
So he's sixth in the league right now. So you mean to tell me he's a Hall of Famer, Jay? I know those other guys could possibly have. They have a better argument, Jay.
I'll be honest. When Britt started talking and saying she said no, I was like, yeah, you know what? Britt's probably right about this. He's probably not. So you're not going to get a strong argument for me on this one, K-Walk.
I put him behind Al Horford and Brooke Lopez. So that's how much I care about him.
I don't know if I go that far, but I get your point, though,
you
Britt.
know,
I get
it's
your point,
it's
though.
an argument to be made there.
At
for
least they
sure.
provide something offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Did you? So I'm assuming you said no,
No,
right?
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. Yeah, no, absolutely not.
All right, you guys want to do one more, or it's time to move on?
Let's get one
Sonia?
more. Let's get one
All right,
more.
one more. Let's see. You want a young guy or a guy on the verge of retirement?
Well, here's a guy on the verge of retirement. I want to see who that is.
All right. Let's do Dwight Howard. I mean, technically he's not in the NBA. He's overseas. He didn't officially retire yet.
He's recruiting people to go overseas, isn't he?
Right. He's big time over. Is he in China? I think.
Yeah.
So let's do Dwight Howard. K-Walk, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, you know what? He's not a top 75 guy, right?
No, but he should be.
He should be.
I agree. Straight out of high school, so you can't compare him to you can't factor his college accolades, but I do think he is. You know what? I'm a Dwight Howard hater. I am, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on record of saying that, but I do think he belongs in the Hall of Fame based off of everything that we've been talking about and everything that the NBA has factored into it. And I think that he deserves to be at least in the top 75 for sure. So I'm going to say, yeah, Dwight Howard should be in the Hall of Fame. I like what he's done, his body of work, with the Magic, and I know he's played with a lot of teams, but with the Magic for the most part, I'll say yeah, he gets it.
Yeah, for me, it's absolutely. I think people look at today's NBA and look how he played. When he came out, he was the top big man in the game.
Yeah.
There was no stretch five. It was a power big man. He did it all. He could play defense. He could score in the post. He'll, get your rebounds. He led the Magic to a championship. They didn't win. I think they lost to the Lakers, if I can recall. But he led the Magic to a championship. But he was dominant. They didn't call him Superman for no reason. And I remember that whole, no, Shaq is Superman. No, Dwight is Superman. Yada, yada, yada. In my mind, Shaq would be Superman first. And then we remember the slam dunk contest when he brought out the cape and the two hoops and all that. So Dwight was that guy. I don't want to say back in the day. That's like way back. But, early 2000s, that 2000 era. So Dwight's absolutely a Hall of Famer. Jay?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's any question. I think he should be on the top 75 list. I think because of sort of the way like the end of his career kind of tailed off, people forget how dominant and how good he actually was. So I don't think there's any question. Dwight's definitely a Hall of Famer. And just real quick on Rudy Gobert, guys. Do you guys know Vlade Divac is in the Hall of Fame? If Vlade Divac is in, maybe Rudy might slip in, man. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I don't know about Vladdy Dottie. He liked to party. Vladdy Dottie. he was a good dude. That dude was a player.
He was a good player, but he wasn't. He didn't set the world on fire. To me, I don't know. But neither.
That's what I said, and this is what I'm saying. Based on the criteria of getting into the NBA Hall of Fame, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys. But if you're asking me, I'd say no.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with y'all on that. I agree.
All right, guys, let's move on. Because we get right ahead into our first break. So I know it's the NBA season, but what I like to watch also just started. The season just started. They actually had a big time opening weekend, an exciting opening weekend. WNBA is on fire. We can finally watch it on ESPN. Prime time during the day, 3 p.m. on Sunday, 8 o'clock. I like those hours. Let's keep those hours, guys. So I just want to know, because we'll get into the WNBA a little bit more, but prior to the season really, like it kicked off, but it really, we get into mid-season. I want to know what your team is, who your favorite team is. I know we pledged our allegiance a little bit last year, but I really want to know who your favorite WNBA team is. Jay, I'm going to start with you first.
Yeah, I've taken a liking to the Vegas Aces. Even last year, I kind of taken a liking to them. I like Kelsey Plum. I like her game. Obviously, they got Asia Wilson as well. adding Candace Parker, I mean, is
yeah.
huge. And then Chelsea Gray, who is a really, really good player that maybe a lot of people don't talk about. So Vegas is just loaded. So that's the team I'm rolling with this year.
What a surprise.
But that was my team last year too. So I'm showing a little bit of consistency.
You're right.
So
because they're still
Vegas
good. That's
Aces,
why.
Vegas Aces. Just sometimes people say pencil them in for a championship. They can go ahead and just fill out the trophy now. Put their name on it. Vegas is winning it again, back to back. Book it.
Wow, Brett.
I mean, look, I ain't gonna. I do like the Aces though. I like the Aces. They're good.
They're scary.
I love their facility. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at their facility. It's gorgeous. First of its kind of WNBA. So, but that's not my team. My team. I'm going with the team that I grew up loving. The one and only New York Liberty. I have loved this team since I was a kid. I know for a long time they were not relevant for a very long time. Yeah. But we are back, and I am excited. We drafted a couple years ago or last year, Sabrina, can't say her last name whatsoever. We just got Brianna Stewart. We also got some other good pieces as well. I can't think of their first name. I know the last name, the Sidner Jones. I think she's pretty talented as well. Yeah. We got a little super team going on here. We got to build some chemistry. We just burnt the Indiana Fever. I know we lost our first game, but that's okay. We coming back, and I hope it's the Liberty versus the Aces in the finals. That will be the best, because I think the Liberty is the best team in the Eastern Conference. I could be wrong, but I think they are. Yeah. But I agree with that. Who's your favorite team?
Yeah, man, Britt, I'm on the fence, but I'm stay loyal. I'm a loyalist, so I've been a Phoenix Mercury fan for quite some time. Even when Britne Griner was out, she's back and she's looking good. She's getting better and better. And if you look at her, she's starting to the game is starting to come back to her. The speed is starting to come back. She's knocked a lot of the rust off, or it's coming off. Each and every game. Diana Taurasi is one of the most competitive female basketball players that I've seen in quite some time, and there's a lot of them out there, ladies and gentlemen. But I do like this team. I don't think they're clicking on all cylinders. I think eventually they will get it done. I think it may be too little, too late. They have some great talent there, like I mentioned, Britne Griner, Diana Taurasi. Jay, I know your Aces are they're the Aces. You gotta go with they're called the Aces for a reason right now. But Britt, I'm so on board with the Liberty right now. I'm in New York and I'm watching these ladies and I'm like, wow, this team is serious. They play in Barclay. They don't play in the Mecca. They play in Barclays Center. So I'm gonna get a chance. I'm gonna try. Take a look at that. I'm gonna go down to get on the train and go watch those ladies for sure. But I'm a Mercury fan, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm tending to side a little bit with Britne on with the Liberty for sure. So.
Come on, K-Walk. Come on
home. I'm Liberty.
Come on home. But no, but really, guys, it's just funny because midway through the NBA season, I was just watching the NBA and I was just like, I'm really getting sick of the NBA. Nobody plays quality defense. It's just like the quality of basketball to me. It's just becoming trash. Nobody's as physical. Everybody's complaining. Everybody's whining and crying. And I'm just like, if y'all don't just play some basketball, all these tic-tacky fouls, and then you watch the WNBA and you really watch how skilled they are. Every player is skilled. Every player plays some defense or gives effort on the defensive side. Nobody is crying. The refs are making good calls. I'm just like, it was a call. I watched the Aces game where I think Candace Parker got hit by mistake in the face, and they reviewed. They was like, nah, it was an incidental contact. Let's just keep playing ball. Yep. We know in the NBA that's a flagrant, regardless if it's incidental or not. It's just, and we've seen that time and time again, even throughout the playoffs. So I'm excited for the WNBA. I'm excited for watching quality basketball again. Hopefully the NBA could get back on track. But
I'll tell you what, Britt.
Hey, Britt, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
What you said, like the biggest difference I noticed is the WNBA, they don't flop. Like in the NBA, you bump a guy, he flies across the floor like, he just got hit by a truck. in the WNBA, you don't see any flopping, which I love. They're just out there playing, being physical, playing ball. That's something I wish the NBA would go back to, man, because the flopping in the NBA has just gotten completely out of control.
Oh my goodness, is it? And then refs fall for it every single time.
And listen, can I say this? Back in the day, we used to say that, hey, you're playing like a girl. Hey, NBA players, I hope you're playing like a girl right now because they are doing the right thing. They're playing harder than you guys. So playing like a girl right now is a good thing. Trust me.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Right. All right, guys, let's head into our first break. When we come back, we will start to get into the midst of what's going on in the playoffs. And then later on, we'll get into the actual games themselves. But you guys are watching. I was going to say, listen, you guys are watching the Sideline Speaks with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network.
CampLyman.com is an opportunity for my big boys to come get some work. Let's put it all together. We built from the ground up. You know, our cliche is it all starts up front. Once again, start, stance, hand placement, hand separation, get-offs, counter moves, a little bit of everything. Polish up those skills before your middle school or high school season began. Just come work on your craft. Once again, CampLyman.com.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Britne Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Sideline Speaks with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network. All right, guys, let's get into what's going on currently in the NBA. So we're going to start off with this because two teams, I guess you could say two of the three top teams in the Eastern Conference have been bounced out, gone fishing, and that is the Bucks and the Sixers, with the potential second team on the verge of getting swept. Of getting swept. So, but what I want to know is because those two teams, the Philadelphia Sixers and the for some reason, I want to say the Miami Bucks. I want the Miami Heat to win that badly. Miami's on my mind. The Milwaukee Bucks both fired their head coaches, and they both are currently interviewing for their head coaches. So I just want to know, who do you think should be the head coaches? We'll start with the Sixers first, and then we'll go with the Bucks. Who should be the head coaches of the Philadelphia Sixers? Who do you think should be it? Jay, I'm going to come to you first.
It's tough. I mean, because if you're going to fire a guy, to me, you really need to make a significant upgrade, right? So I guess the question is there someone out there that's a significant upgrade ahead of Doc that's either free or that maybe you could pry away from another team? I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously a name like Monty Williams comes to mind. I'm not sure he's the right guy for Philly. Like, everybody loves Monty. I get that, but I almost feel like the coach in Philly needs to be a guy that might be willing to be maybe just a little bit more, I don't want to say confrontational, but maybe just push your stars a little bit more. So I'm not sure Monty's the right guy. I think Sam Cassell, I think he's on the Philly staff right now. I think he might be a good fit. He's been there. He knows the guys. He's sat under Doc for several years. Sam Cassell might be the right guy for that job. So I'm going to put Sam Cassell as the number one contender and maybe Monty second. But really for me, I think I'd go Sam Cassell.
Me, I'm absolutely going with Sam Cassell if it's up to me. That's one of my choices. Sam Cassell, he puts the fire in these players. I've seen them over the summer or when they're able to work with the coaches, dig into James Harden, dig into Tyrese Maxey, and they look at him like, we got you. Next thing you know, they're shooting better or they're doing better. We know as assistant coaches, they kind of don't have that voice, you know, on the sideline like you wish they had, because I feel like if Sam Cassell could kind of dig into these stars a little bit more, he's the type of guy that holds his players accountable. Doc Rivers was a little lenient, and we've seen that with Ben Simmons. You know, we thought coming in he would hold them more accountable, he would get on them, but he played it a little bit different, and we understand it's a different era, and these guys are a little bit more sensitive, which is drives me insane. But you need a guy that doesn't care, and I don't think Sam Cassell cares. He's like, I'm here to win. Are you in on it or not? So I think he's one. The one guy I would love to have, but I don't think he's going to come out of retirement whatsoever. We do know if he does come out of retirement and wants to coach in the NBA, he will only coach the Philadelphia Sixers, and that is Jay Wright. I think Jay Wright is a fantastic head coach. Now, does Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, we don't know if Harden's going to be there or not. I hope not. Well, they want him there. That'll be, another thing. But I think if he is there, they will see how good of a coach he really is. Jay Wright knows his X's and his O's. He understands defense, offense. He's just a fantastic coach. He's already in the Hall of Fame, and there's a reason he's in there. He got in there so fast. And then my last guy is Nick Nurse. I love his defensive mind. The Sixers playing up against him, the defensive scheme he schemed up to go against Joel Embiid to make the game that much more difficult. He knows how to teach the game to the younger guys, which I think is very important for this particular team. It's a whole lot of young guys who just can't seem to get right, and I think he will help with that. His offensive side is just okay, so he may need an offensive-minded assistant coach, but I think Nick Nurse could also be good here as well. But K-Walk, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I love all the names that you mentioned. Jay Wright, I loved it. He's a Philly guy too, coming from Villanova. I think that'd be a good fit there. But my question is to you guys before I think who the best fit is like, why can't these guys just get it right, man, and just go with whatever the coaches draw up in the huddle on the clipboard or whatever the case may be? Why can't you go out there?
Cry too much.
Yeah, but you got to a game 7, so why all of a sudden is it Doc Rivers' fault? I mean, I don't understand that. It's like, I'm talking about the Sixers and this past the past series with the Celtics. I don't get how
Rivers.
What's that?
Now, I don't think anybody really blamed Doc Rivers.
Well, he got fired, so I guess you have to blame. You got to.
It's just time to change things up.
But now you want to bring in Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell was underneath Doc Rivers, so he's pretty much going to implement that same philosophy. He's going to probably add a little bit more of his own, his own identity in there as well. But I don't know if you go with that guy. I think Doc Rivers was the guy, the perfect guy for that position. I think the guys quit on him. I don't know why. James Harden, I don't know why, but
it's now 2023 and they crying.
All right, okay, so then you don't need a coach then. Then you don't need a coach then. If that's the case, if you're going to continue to cry and it's based off of that, then you don't need a coach because you're always going to blame the coach when the effort's not there. We're talking about Game 7 in the NBA and the Eastern Conference semifinals, and all of a sudden, James Harden scores 9 points. Joel Embiid scores 15 points. Like, come on, man, that you can't put that on Doc. You cannot put that on Doc.
What I understand.
What else is Doc going to draw
up? Well, I get all that, but we just trying to figure out who's the head coach is going to be.
No, but I'm saying my point. No, I am taking it somewhere. That's why I said I let off with that. I said let me go here first. That's what I said. I just don't like the fact that everybody's putting that on the Doc or putting on the coaches. So with that all being said, I think you could just throw anybody in there, and I think the outcome will be a Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni is your guy because that's who James Harden wants. That's who that guy is going to be. That's who James Harden wants. And we know that. What's the GM for the Sixers? What's his name?
Morey.
Yeah.
Him, James Harden, and I think D'Antoni will have a great relationship. So that's just going what it's going to be. And then James Harden got to resign. You're not. But that's what the players. Yeah, and the fact of the matter is the players have too much control in this league today, and that's why you're never going to get a real coach. The coach is going to do one of two things. They're going to get most of the blame, or they're going to all of the credit. One or two. Bottom line. So with that being said, I'm going to say D'Antoni.
NBA history. That's an NBA history. So I know. We know the Sixers aren't hiring Mike D'Antoni. That would be too much of a stir.
I don't know if that's what James Harden wants, and they want James Harden back. That's who's going to happen.
James Harden, odds are, won't even be back with the contract that he's looking for.
So why let Doc go then? Because a lot of rumors
Doc
are saying
was already on a hot seat prior to the season. Whether they got through, the point is they had to get to the finals. Okay. They had to get to the finals, and the odds are they were not getting to the finals based off what transpired in Game 6 and in Game 7. So That is what it is. So
no win situation.
Is that your real
Doc.
answer, Mike D'Antoni? Is that your real answer?
Oh, not my real answer. No, I think that's where it's going to go. That's who they should go with. Who they should go with? I think they go with Sam Cassell because I think he's a Doc. He's a Doc guy. So I'm going to go Sam Cassell.
All right. Let's move on. Who do we think the Milwaukee Bucks should hire? K-Walk, I'll have you go first.
I'll keep this brief. I'll go Monty Williams. I think Monty Williams is a good fit there. I think he's I still can't believe he was fired. I just can't wrap my head around that for any stretch. But he's known to he's a player's coach. The players love to play for him. I think it's someone that Giannis needs for first and foremost. So I didn't even see what's his name? I can't pronounce his last name. The Bucks head coach that was fired, but I can't believe he was going either. That was a shock to me too. But if you're going to go a different, Budenholzer. I'm sorry. But Monty Williams is a perfect guy for that team. You got superstars there. You got Middleton. You got Giannis for sure. I think he's a perfect fit for those type of superstars, meaning Monty Williams. So I'm going to go Monty Williams here. It may go a different direction, but I like Monty Williams in that fit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I like Monty Williams too. I think he'll be a good fit for the Bucks. I wasn't a huge fan of Budenholzer. I don't think he was necessarily an X and O's type of guy. If you would have seen the defense that they played, they kept playing the stupid drop, and I hate that drop coverage defense. Like drop coverage sounds like the NFL, right? That they were playing in the playoffs, but a lot of teams were doing it, and I can't stand it. They always drop back off the pick and roll, and you leave the guy wide open for a jump shot. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But they're not the only teams that were doing it whatsoever. But another guy I really like, I think Mark Jackson. I don't know if he'll go step away from broadcasting. He's still done broadcasting.
I think he's good there.
But I always thought he was a great head coach. I just kind of felt like he got the short end of the stick was the Warriors prior to Steve Kerr. I believe that was him, right?
Yep. That was Steve's team.
And
that was Mark Jackson's team.
Mark Jackson's team. I felt like if he would have stuck through, he would have ended up with a few championships. They just had to give him some time, but they're like, nope, we're going to go with the other guy. Kind of like Phil Jackson. But I don't know. I like Mark Jackson. I think he'll be good for Giannis and Chris Middleton if Chris Middleton decides to stay there. Drew Holiday, I really think he'll be able to bring that team together. But Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like both of you guys' choices. Mark Jackson, I do like what he did in Golden State. I feel like he's been broadcasting so long. He's gotten so comfortable there.
I agree, Jeff.
And coaching is such a grind. Like, I don't know why you'd want to leave that great job.
And he got fat too, Jeff.
He's out of shape. So that's a problem too. Right. And then Monty's great, K-Walk. I agree. But for some reason, I like someone Britt mentioned earlier. I think Nick Nurse is he just feels like a coach for the Bucks. I don't know why. He's going to bring that great defense that you talked about, Britt. Obviously, they've got some talented offensive players with Giannis and Middleton. So I don't know. It just feels like a Nick Nurse type of team. So I'm gonna go Nick Nurse to the Bucks.
All right, bet. So Nick Nurse. No. I need him to be open. I need Sam Cassell to be open. I need Jay Wright to be open. Okay. Those three I need to be open for my team. Let's have them take Monty Williams or actually I wouldn't mind Mark Jackson if he wants to come out of retirement. I really want Larry Brown, but he's way too old now, so that's not gonna work.
Yeah, I think he's over the hill.
All right, guys, let's move on. Let's get into what's going on. We're not gonna get to, I guess we kind of have to because I know we're talking about it during Jay's segment, but I'm gonna talk about these Celtics. And specifically Jason Tatum. So we have seen the Celtics play very inconsistent basketball throughout the entirety of the playoffs and quite frankly, the entire regular season. Is Jason Tatum a superstar? LeBron James is a superstar. Giannis is a superstar. Jokic is a superstar. So forth. Is Jason Tatum a superstar? Jay, I'm gonna come to you first.
Man, Brett, it's tough because there's times he certainly looks like one, right? That time he dropped 50 not too long ago in the closeout. I mean, so there's definitely he has superstar qualities, but I think the very fact that we're even talking about the question kind of leads me to the answer. No, I'm not going to put him at superstar yet. I think he's one of those young stars in the league, but I think he's going to have to be more consistent if he's going to get that superstar badge. Sometimes I feel like we give that out a little bit too easy, not us specifically, but just people in the media. They just give they kind of brand people with that superstar thing a little bit too easily. There's not that many superstars in the league. I think Tatum's a star. He's a really great young player, but he's got to be more consistent if he wants to be a superstar.
Yeah, I agree. The inconsistency is, it makes no sense. It's just like night and day. And lately it's been a lot more inconsistencies than there has been consistency, which to be a potential great player, we hear a lot of Jason Tatum this, Jason Tatum that. Oh my, and it's just like he's not showing up when he needs to show up. I mean, it was great that he showed up in the end of Game 6 against the Sixers. I think he showed up in Game 7. Yeah, that's where he got 50-something points against the Sixers. But then the Sixers also did what the Celtics did against the Heat and just decided not to play today for some reason. But whatever, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. I'm not sure because you guys know I like Jason Tatum. I kept saying he's a young star. He has such a bright future. But when you see his inconsistencies, I'm questioning. I'm really, really questioning a lot of things. It's starting to look like he could be a great shooter. But do you have that superstar mentality that you need to really take your team to where they need to go? We thought we seen it last year, but maybe it's a coach thing. Maybe he didn't have the right coach to get on him, hold him accountable this year. I'm not sure, but to me, if you're going to be a superstar, you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to take that next step, and I don't see it right now. But hopefully next year will be a whole nother situation. But K-Walk, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think he's a superstar from a Mets spec, and then I say that because he has all the tools. He can make all the plays. I did think he gets in his own way, and I think that he doesn't have that superstar mentality. He doesn't. He shuts himself out. He thinks about the wrong things at the wrong time, and he's focused on the wrong things at the wrong time, I should say. He's always looking for a foul, whether it be an offensive foul. He gets beat. I mean, he's a great defender. I mean, wow, this dude is really, I didn't realize how good of a defender he is once he wants to lock down, but he doesn't lock down all the time, like you guys alluded to. Like, there's a lot of inconsistency with him. I guess you can say there's consistency, but it's inconsistency when it comes to the consistency aspect of it. You want to look at it that way. So he's consistently inconsistent. But no, I mean, it's frustrating to watch this guy, man, because every time that he shoots the ball, I know it's going to go in. Especially against my Heat, I'm like, oh, we got this guy. He's going to get, I just expect him to score 30 a night. I really do. But then when it comes down to that crunch time, when it comes down to when you need him the most, he just fades away, man. He really gets, his game really gets transparent like the skin. But, yeah, I said it. I said what I said, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, did you say like his skin or like?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, Britt.
I did say that, Britt. But yeah. But all seriousness, yeah. I mean, I don't know why he taps out, man. I don't know why he taps out. That's when you need him the most, man. He can probably put 45 to 50 points on the board tonight, like he did in Game 7 against the Sixers. He can really do that, but for some reason or another, he shuts down. And his justification to that is like he's trying to facilitate. Nah, you don't do that. You facilitate between quarters 1, 2, and 3, and you take over in quarter 4. But for some reason or another, he doesn't have that mentality. Like you mentioned, Britt, it may change next season. We don't know. So with that being said, I'm not going to put him in a superstar status. He has superstar capabilities. He has the superhero capabilities, but he just doesn't know how to perform as a superhero or superstar.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So speaking of Jason Tatum, I just want to know, because like you said, he likes to facilitate. And I don't see him as a facilitating type of player. He shouldn't even think about facilitating. Go get yours. Let the other guys around you figure it out. So speaking of the Celtics and Jason Tatum, should the Celtics split up Jason Brown and Jason Tatum? Is it time? I know they've been talking about it for a long, long time, but last year they made it to the championship and everybody said, well, things may be different. It looks like these two can actually, win a championship together. But this year has been a lot of, like we said, inconsistencies with these two guys. So should they split them up? K-Walk, I'm going to come to you first.
I don't think you split these guys up, man. I think they look good together to me, personally. I'm perfectly honest with you. I'm just thinking about everything and why people are bringing this up or posing this question. Not just you, Britt, but it's been posed by other people as well. I mean, I like it. Anytime that you can get two talents like this, I mean, you just got to find the right coach to bring them together and, ultimately, have these guys be successful. Maybe one has to, defer to the other. Don't know who that would be. I would think Jaylen Brown would defer to Jason Tatum, but both of them are alpha dogs, so I don't think either one would defer to the other. But nonetheless, in order for them to work together, they have to have the right coach. They have to have the right philosophy. And so with all that being said, I'm saying no, keep these guys together for, I don't know what their contracts are right now, what they're like right now. So, the duration of their contracts, let them ride that out. Don't look to trade either one of them. I mean, we all know that Jaylen Brown will probably be the one to get traded, if anyone, but let it ride it out. Let it ride it out and bring the right guy in, because it doesn't look like Mazzulla is that guy right now. It just seems like he lost that locker room for sure, but we'll see tonight. But I say no, don't split them up. Keep them together.
See, here's my thing, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit with the alpha dogs. Who's the star? Who's like, I'm top dog? Who is it? Jaylen Brown? Is it Jason Tatum? Because they lean on each other. Like we said earlier, Jason Tatum's looking to be a facilitator to Jaylen Brown, and then towards the end of the game, you switch it, so you're kind of turning it on and off throughout the game, which is weird, and we see it during the game. Jaylen Brown gets hot in the beginning of the game. Now it's like, okay, well, let's take that away and try to get Jason Tatum to get. It's just like we don't know who is who. Prime example, when LeBron James went to Miami Heat and they got those two rings, right? Was it 2 or 3? Two rings. What did D Wade say? We all know this is D Wade's team. It's been his team. But D Wade said, you top dog, because he knew, we want to win. In order for us to win, we got to know our roles. So LeBron, you could have top dog. We all know that's D Wade's team. D Wade knew that's his team, but mentally, let LeBron have that. I think Kobe and Shaq had to do the same exact thing. And I just feel like they're fighting for this superstar top dog role. And it's like, to me, it's unnecessary, because I think their games can go well together. But they got to have a right coach, right front office to say, hey, this is Jason Tatum's team. Jaylen Brown, you're a star in your own right, but let's just have our roles identified. If I'm making any sense of what the heck I'm saying, I'm pretty sure you guys are trying to understand what I'm saying.
No. So, I got you.
So I get confused when I watch the game, and I think they're getting confused. They don't know who they should go to. And it's just, sometimes it gets lost in the sauce, in my opinion. So I say right now, I don't know. Last year I would have said hold on to it, but I'm starting to think you got to split them up. I just feel like Jaylen Brown wants to be the top dog, and he needs to go somewhere where he can do that, because he has the skill set to do it. I just don't know if Boston is that right place to do it.
Let's just go. Let's look at it this way. With the way that Jason Tatum's been playing, the way Jaylen Brown's been playing, let's use baseball terms. Let Jason Tatum be the starter, the middle reliever, and then let Jaylen Brown be the closer. Let Jason Tatum be, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. You got, obviously, Jaylen Brown's got to do his thing there. But at the end of the game, let Jaylen Brown be the closer. Let he be that guy that's going to close that game for you if Jason Tatum's not willing to do that. But I wholeheartedly believe that you keep these guys together, though.
But do they have that can they turn it on and off like that? So that's my question. You know,
well, that's what I said.
players,
Jaylen Brown's got to be in the mix doing those first those first 3 quarters. You got to keep him in the mix. I'm not just saying, Jaylen Brown just sit back and let Jason Tatum do his thing. He still got to do his thing. But when it comes down to the fourth quarter, we've seen that Jason Tatum has shied away from that, not taking shots, not scoring points in the fourth quarter, or only shooting free throws or whatever the case may be. Jason Tatum Jaylen Brown is more of an attack guy than Jaylen Brown at that point of the game. Is my point.
Yeah, they're going to have to, in the offseason, they're going to have to really sit down, communicate, like Kobe and Shaq did. My mind, as great as both these guys are, Shaq to me was the big time difference maker. Well, he was the most unstoppable guy, dominated in that middle. But what he say, you get yours, and I'm going to get mine. You get yours. Kobe, you top dog. This is a little different. Michael and Scotty. I'm pretty sure Scottie Pippen wanted to be the star too, but he was like, nah, this is MJ's team. I don't mind. I'm a star in my own right. But this is I understand what you're saying, but you still have to identify these roles and you have to understand what your role is on the team. And I just don't think they have anybody in this office, in this organization, that says this is you guys' role and I need y'all to accept that and take it in order for us to win. They got close. Mind you, Coach Yu was there also. So that's another conversation. But I don't know. We'll have to see. They got to communicate in the off season and determine each other's roles and so forth. But Jay, your thoughts?
I don't know. I think you got to keep them together. I mean, if you get rid of Jaylen Brown, I mean, who are you going to get? I mean, are you really? Are you sure you can get somebody that's better than him? I'm not sure. I think part of the confusion is that neither one of them is a legit superstar. So it's easier when you have a legitimate star on the team for that 1A guy to say, okay, I need to kind of take the back seat here. But they're both really, really good players, but I don't think either one of them has ascended to superstar status. So I think that's where some of the confusion comes in. To kind of the point you guys were making, maybe they just need more guidance, more coaching as to how they can play together, because I think they can do it. I mean, this is a team that was in the NBA Finals last year, so they figured out how to get to the finals last year. They're in the Eastern Conference Final again this year. I wouldn't throw in the towel on these two just yet. I think maybe they need some structure, some guidance, some coaching on how to make it work. But I think if you let one of those guys go, you better be sure you're getting somebody that's just as good. And I don't know that player is going to be out there.
Well, I mean,
hey guys, and my co-host E. Scott on my show tomorrow night just texted me, and he said that Dwight Howard just reached out to LeBron James to come join him since they got swept.
All right, we're gonna move on. The whole Celtics situation, let them figure that out. I wouldn't mind Jaylen Brown coming to the Sixers, by the way, if he's willing to do that. We don't have no assets, so it's not going to work. But you never know. And we're rivals, so it's not going to work. But
sign and trade with Jaylen to James Harden. Sign and trade.
Oh, I'm cool with that. Somehow get him back to Houston. Please go back to Houston. All right, so we're going to move on. Before we head into break, I do want to talk about this. So last night we witnessed the Lakers get swept by the Nuggets. Was this LeBron James's last chance to win a championship? Jay, I'm going to come to you first.
I'll say it's his last best chance. I don't want to say it's his last chance because I mean, LeBron showed last night. He still has something in the tank. I mean, obviously he's not the LeBron that he used to be. I don't think he can take over games and kind of carry a team to victory, but he can certainly be a really good player on the floor. So I don't want to say it's his last chance. Lakers have a good roster. You know, they have a good roster. Maybe if they can make some tweaks, make some additions in the offseason, I think they have a chance to be right back in the mix. So I think this was a good chance that he missed out on, an opportunity, because so many good teams, especially in the East, that got eliminated, like no Milwaukee to have to go through. I mean, Miami's obviously playing out of their minds right now, but it was a good chance to maybe steal one, but I think he might still have a chance later on down the road.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't buy into nothing he said in his press conference. I just think emotions got in the way. I think he will be here. He'll be playing next year because he loves the game. And I think he's still able to. If he decides to retire, I can see a Tom Brady. He'll retire and come right back. Is it his last chance? I think it depends on Anthony Davis. Point blank period. Does he want to show up today or does he not want to show up today? Does he want to play hard today or does he not want to play hard today? It's just very telling. It's funny. I remember when LeBron won the scoring or got the most points in the history of the league, and they showed Anthony Davis's face.
Yeah.
And he tried to say it was something else, but it just looked like, why are we giving so much attention to this one guy where we're in the middle of a game and instead of just being there for your brother and this? So that was just very telling to me. I'm not sure if LeBron still wants to play with Anthony Davis. He may come out and say he does, but I don't think I would want to play with Anthony Davis. So to me, it depends on what the Lakers front office does. I know they have a lot of good pieces surrounding LeBron, a lot of good young pieces surrounding LeBron. But I think it comes down to what they do with Anthony Davis and how he wants to play. But K-Walk, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that if LeBron sits down and he talk, I think he'll be back. I think if he can get Kyrie Irving, because remember, Kyrie Irving is an unrestricted free agent. Why not bring the gang back together? Meaning him and LeBron. I mean, he and LeBron. When they were at in Cleveland. And add him, obviously they have to take tremendous pay cuts, but I think they're willing to do that if they're all in and they want to win that championship. So if they can sit down and they can really work on that, meaning LeBron and Kyrie, I think he's going to have a really good chance of winning a championship next year if they get together, But again, it's the numbers, and then LeBron. We all know LeBron's great at working those numbers and making sure that contract works for him. But yeah, I don't think he's done. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's going to sit down and talk to Kyrie. They're going to work something out, and he'll be back with Kyrie, AD, and the LeBron, and then the rest of those guys that we mentioned. The Jordans and the Russells and the guys of that nature. The Averys as well. I think that's I'm pronouncing his last name, but the young kid that's always shooting him in the corner. I think I pronounced his name, but right correctly. But anyway. I say no. I say no. He's not done, and he has his best chance will be next year, and he may get there again. He may get to the NBA Finals next year if that works out.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Because he's gonna have some tough competition with the Suns, and I don't think the Nuggets with their young guys are going anywhere. So it's gonna be much tougher competition next year. All right, last question, and we're going into break because I really want to get this question in. This is for all sports, not one particular, but this is the ultimate GOAT. I really want to ask you guys this question. Who do you think is the GOAT of all GOATs across all sports? And I'm gonna list some names. I might skip a couple here because I have a long list of GOATs. So we're gonna start with football, Tom Brady, of course. Basketball, Michael Jordan, of course, and don't be biased. Golf, Tiger Woods. Tennis, I'm gonna go with Serena Williams. You know what? I'm just name them all. Boxing, Muhammad Ali, and baseball. I was so torn. Maybe I could have won Babe Ruth, but I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going with Hank Aaron because I like Hank Aaron. And he's considered a big time GOAT. It was between him, Willie Mays, and Babe Ruth. So, who do you think is the GOAT of all GOAT to get the title of ultimate GOAT? K-Walk, I'm gonna come to you first.
No hockey in there, Britt?
I don't know too much about hockey except for
I'm just messing with you, Britt.
Yeah, we may have some listeners or watchers, viewers.
What's the top hockey guy? I can't think of his name right now.
Wayne
Gretzky.
Mario
I was thinking.
Lemieux.
Yeah. All right, put it in there. Hockey, Wayne Gretzky, because I'm familiar.
Okay. Jay said that. No, I'm just saying. Jay. I wasn't gonna go with that. You could have named him. I would have went with any one of them. Yeah, but even though Wayne Gretzky was a monster, he was a monster. They call him the Great One. Anytime you get that nickname with Wayne Gretzky, I mean, the Great One.
He's the hockey GOAT for sure.
Yeah. Wow, Britt. I'm torn between two here.
Well, so tell us what the two you're torn between.
MJ and Serena.
Over Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
No, I just gotta throw it out there.
No. I mean, I can't pick them all, right? I can only pick one.
Right.
but I just don't. I think he as a because oh wow. All right, Britt. I know we're pressed for time. Oh man, I could never go against MJ, but I don't want to lose our female viewers either. Oh my God, let's go. I got ladies. Forgive me, ladies. I got to go with MJ, man. Serena's is a close second, and you guys seen how conflicted I was with this, so please forgive me for that. But I'm going to go MJ over Serena slightly. I just think MJ was the dominant force, and I mentioned, like Jason Tatum, he lacks that mentality, and I think one thing that separates MJ from all of the guys that we mentioned, maybe you could throw Tom Brady in there, but from a mental standpoint, I think no one can compare to MJ from a mental standpoint. So I'm going to go with MJ with a close second with Serena.
Okay. Jay, who's your ultimate goal? If you need me to list them, I'll list them again.
No. I think I got it's tough because, like, to me, the GOAT is more than just like what you do on the field or the court or whatever. Like, I think there's I don't know, there's just an intangible about being the GOAT. It's just other things that you can't necessarily articulate, but you kind of know it when you see it. So, like, for me, I think Tom Brady's the most accomplished, but I don't even know that I think he's the greatest football player of all time. Obviously, he's got all those Super Bowls, but I could name 2-3 other guys that I think are better football players than he was.
Rice.
So look, I don't know. And Serena, as great as she is, like, if I'm naming the GOAT athletes, I don't know. She's not gonna win it for me. I don't know. I don't want to be biased, but
you ever played tennis, Jay?
I played a little bit of tennis in my day, just a little bit.
Competitive tennis?
Not nothing too competitive, but I've played a little tennis. But I like, for me, if I'm comparing Serena and MJ, it's MJ every single time. Just what he did, just the mystique about MJ, the shoes that everybody's still wearing. Like, for me, all those things like go into being the GOAT. So for me, it's MJ. I got to take MJ. It's pretty.
I was the opener. I was the setup man. Jay closed it out. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's all
I think I'd even take Muhammad Ali over Serena. Honestly,
I could argue with that. I mean, I can't argue with that. I agree with that.
Well, I can tell you I never played tennis, but tennis is a very tough sport. It ain't no joke. Huh?
Especially if you never played it.
Right. And so to get all the accolades that Serena Williams got in that sport and what she had to overcome from the time when she was 16, 15, something like that, how young she was when she came in, is big. But for me, that's not who I selected. I thought about going with MJ, but I feel like that's going to be, everybody's going to say MJ for whatever reason. I'm going with the greatest of all time. I had to go with Muhammad Ali. The champ is here. I had to go with Muhammad Ali because, Jay, you made a valid point. It's not what you not the only thing that you did in the sport, it's what you also did outside of the sports. And we all know Muhammad Ali is one of the biggest civil rights activists we have ever seen. He even said, I'm not going into no war. That's not my war. That's your war. What you got me fighting y'all war for? I don't want nothing to do with it. And the way he spoke out, he wasn't scared to speak out. He spoke his truth, and I have so much love and respect for Muhammad Ali. And he changed the game of boxing. Nobody was doing what he was doing prior to that. He was powerful. He was elusive. He would have you fall asleep. He would make you think you beating him, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, you tired now, huh? Now it's my time. Let's go. So he is the greatest of all time for a particular reason in boxing and out of the ring, in the ring and out of the ring. So for me, my ultimate GOAT would be Muhammad Ali on that one.
That's a good one. That's a good call.
Can't argue. All right, guys, we're going to head into break, and then when we come back, Jay's going to take over, and yes, we are going to dive even further into the playoffs. So you guys are watching the SideLine Speaks with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network.
CampLyman.com is an opportunity for my big boys to come get some work. Let's put it all together. We built from the ground up. Our cliche is it all starts up front. Once again, start, stance, hand placement, hand separation, get offs, counter moves, a little bit of everything. Polish up those skills before your middle school or high school season began. Just come work on your craft. Once again, camplyman.com.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Brittany Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.
All right, welcome back. SideLine Speaks, Britne Jones, Kevin Walker, and Jason Collins. All right, guys, let's jump into a little bit of NBA playoff talk. We talked a lot about the Lakers, guys, tonight. Obviously, we know they got swept. We haven't really showed the Nuggets a whole lot of love. Britt, what are you most impressed about by the Nuggets as they've kind of rolled through the Lakers here? What about the Nuggets has impressed you?
First of all, they're all healthy. that's first and foremost. Look, I've known they had a good team for a long time. It's just that the health problem was a big issue. Michael Porter Jr. constantly injured. Jamal Murray is constantly injured. But Jokic is playing very, very well. But the one player to me that I think a lot of people forgot because he tore his ACL, how much of a star he really is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has come up in big moments to really propel his son's team. I know Jokic gets a lot of credit, but I think Jamal Murray deserves a whole lot of credit as well. I know he is the superstar to the team. They understand their roles on the team. Jamal Murray doesn't mind being the second guy in the lineup. Although he is very well capable of being that first guy, although he's very young as well. I just love how they're playing together on both ends of the court. We all know Jokic does not play much defense, but that's okay because he has enough defense surrounding him to help him out with that. And he has made a couple good defensive plays. The one, I think yesterday they called the foul, I believe, when he hit the ball with LeBron. And I said, that is all ball. So that kind of made me tight a little bit. But no, I just love how they're playing together. I love how they're playing on both sides of the court. And I love what the coach is doing. The coach is saying, I'm playing about 6 guys max. I don't care. I think Jokic played that entire second half yesterday. I love the coach's mentality. We're winning this series, and we're winning the series tonight. So this is going to be it's going to be an interesting finals. It really, really is. I was like, the Heat's going to win it. The Heat's going to win it. I don't know. I'm not 100% confident anymore. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, Denver's got a really good team. I didn't watch them a lot throughout the season. They have a really good team. All their role players kind of play their roles perfectly. Michael Porter Jr., he makes some significant contribution. KCP, the older guy, I can't think of his name.
Green.
Jeff Green. Yeah, okay. Well, he does a great job. Yes. So they have a really nice team set up, and everybody plays their role perfectly. So I've been super impressed. But K-Walk, what about you, man? What about the Nuggets has kind of impressed you in the way that they just play the game?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much where Britt left off at was the coach, Mike Malone. I think you got to give that guy credit, man, just to put all the X's and O's together, because you can see, and we talked about all the teams that, been swept or, had most talent, and the coaches got fired. And we always brought one common denominator as X's and O's. You can see the X's and O's actually being ran with this particular team. They believe in this coach, meaning Jokic and Murray and Aaron Gordon, the Jeff Green as well. So this team right now, they believe in the system. And what's to say you trust the process? They trust the process. They believe, and they know who they are, and they don't shy away from that, no matter how far they are up and or how low they are down. Especially last night, because the Lakers were up, almost 10 points were late in that game, and then they still came back and find a way to win that game. So overall for me, Jay, it's just a collective effort with this particular team, and it's a scary team, especially when you got Jokic, and he could have honestly won a 3rd straight MVP. And to be honest with you, I know you're an MB guy, Britt. So I'm not trying to take anything away from MB, but he's playing very well, meaning Jokic. And Britt, you alluded to one thing that a lot of people aren't realizing, and it is that Murray is healthy, and when he's healthy, he's confident he is right now. Very, very scary team. So that I just think it's a collective, it's a collaboration of everything. To be honest with you,
I'm gonna say this, and I have to go off track. The right person won the MVP this year.
Okay, I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that.
No. Listen to what I'm saying, because you're not the only one. I've been hearing this all the way through. The right person won the MVP this year. Nobody said that last year, a couple years ago when Jokic won. Okay, he got bounced out of the first or so round. Playoffs is a different thing. It's a regular season award. That's what we heard last year, right? It's a regular season award. Jokic deserved to win the last 2-3 or so years. So the right person won that particular award. Is Jokic the MVP of the Western Conference of the playoffs? Absolutely. I'm just leave it there.
Yeah.
Britt, let's put a pin in that, Britt. Hey, Britt, can we put a pin in that and revisit that next week? Because I really have something to combat that. I have a rebuttal to that. But since Jay is up against the clock, I'll let Jay continue. But I do have a rebuttal against that.
Okay, well, man, let me hear your rebuttal. I'm interested. If you want to redo it tonight. If not, we could always come back to it. But we
I don't want. We're up against the clock, Jay, and I don't want to take away from your segment.
Okay. No, but I was just going to say I do think you made a good point about the coaching, K-Walk, because there's a lot of thought that like in the NFL coaching really matters, but in the NBA it's more of a players league, and if you got the best players you're just going to win. But I think what's happened in Miami has proved just how important coaching is. What we see in Denver has proved just how important coaching is. So I do think that these coaches do deserve some credit for some of the X's and O's that they've drawn up.
Right. You have to buy in. You have to buy in, just like in the NFL, any other sport. You have to buy into what the coaches are saying. If you do not buy in, you see what happened. Players give up on you. Celtics is giving up on Joe, whatever. The Sixers gave up on Doc Rivers. You have to buy in. That's point blank and period.
I agree with that.
It's not the same team.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think though that some of the buy-in is on the coach in some ways, right? Like whether it's a respect thing, whether it's a culture thing. Like I do think some of the buy-in comes from the way organizations are run, the way the coach presents himself. So I do think like, yes, obviously the players have to buy in, but in some ways I think the coach, I don't want to say is responsible for the buy-in, but just kind of how they handle things makes buying in easier, I guess.
Yeah, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, Jay. I'm sorry, Britt. Let me ask this question real quick. What's the difference between game 1 and the Sixers and the Celtics game and game 7 and the Sixers and Celtics game? And keep in mind, Joel Embiid was out that game and they were on the road. So what is the difference? And then Joel Embiid only scored 15. It
starts with your leaders of the team. So it starts with the leaders. But so for the Sixers, it starts with a Joel Embiid. It starts with a James Harden. If those guys are not listening to the coach, it don't matter if it's 2 games ago or 3 games ago. If they're not buying, into
that doesn't
what
make any
the coaches
sense.
is
because
saying,
they beat the Celtics on the road in game 1 without Joel Embiid.
It doesn't
and
matter.
Go in game 7 and they just get wiped out off the court. What is the difference between those 6 games? Okay.
It doesn't.
Apparently it does. Apparently it does.
Apparently it doesn't, because they weren't. They didn't care.
I think it was. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with talent. Does it have anything to do with talent?
All right. So they just didn't want. So they just came there.
Are Harden and Embiid not talented guys? Are they like terrible players in the NBA?
But Embiid
are they terrible players in the NBA?
No, I would never say that. You know the answer.
Okay. All right.
So why did they win it? How did they win the game? How did they win game 1 on the road?
I don't know. You asked James Harden. You asked James Harden that question. Exactly. I'm not James Harden. Ask him why he's not buying in. Ask him why he has no belief in Doc Rivers. Ask them that question. Ask those guys. It wasn't just the James Harden. It was other guys on that team as well. Ask them why they weren't listening.
That makes no sense.
It does make sense. I'm here in the Philadelphia area. You don't think I'm hearing what's going on?
But the
I'm right here. I'm right here.
The result doesn't make sense.
I know people that works very close within that organization. I'm
So
right
why
here.
did he go out and score 45 in game 1 without Embiid? But with Embiid, he scores 9
asked
points.
James Harden why he did that and why he decided not to play
All right, so
those
what
last
Embiid do?
3 or 4 games.
Why didn't Embiid show up more in game 7?
He struggled. He doesn't have a right to struggle. He struggled. You need a number 2. If Jokic struggles, who does he fall back on?
MVP. No, he doesn't have a right to struggle. He's the MVP. He doesn't have the right. Did Jokic struggle last night?
He struggled last year when they got bounced out.
No,
he won
last
MVP
night.
last year. So what are you talking about?
We talking this year. We talk about 2023.
No, I don't want to hear that crap because y'all always do that. It's this year is this, next year is that. When it goes against between Jokic and Embiid, be consistent on how you judge both of them. That's what I want to hear from year to year. Be consistent every year. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to hear no more. Jay, go ahead.
I'm talking about
go ahead, Jay.
All right, y'all. Let's
you be right with the rest of them. Go ahead.
Let's jump into the Heat and the Celtics, man. Obviously, this series, I don't think anyone would have predicted the Heat up 3-0, maybe a chance to sweep tonight. I don't think anyone had that. K-Walk, even as big a Heat fan as you are, I don't think you had it going down like this. I guess, K-Walk, I'll start and say, what's going on here? Like, what have you seen? Why have the Heat been so successful and the Celtics have just looked so out of sorts?
I just think you just have, kind of what I alluded to. This is you have that coach. It starts with the coach, and you buy into that. You buy into the game plan, and you buy into the culture, if you will. And then you have that superstar player and Jimmy Butler, who's leading by example, who doesn't take any games off, and he goes out there and he performs on both ends of the court. They call him playoff Jimmy for a reason because he shows up in big time games, and then everyone just feeds off of that. Everyone feeds off of that. And Jay, you asked me last week, what do the Heat have to do to win the first game? And I said, just be themselves, gotta hit the boards. You got to hit the boards. And I think that what it is that the Heat have a game plan. They're executing it. Now, when you look on the other side of the court, the other end of the court, and you look at the Boston Celtics, it's like, now all of a sudden they're like, what happened to these guys? But the Heat just go out there and they continue to be consistent. They don't try to be anybody but who they are, because they only know how to be who they are. And if they continue to do that, well, no matter how high how far they get back or how high they're up, they continue to play the same type of game. And again, we mentioned it has to do with Jimmy Butler, the superstar of that team, the leader of that team, leading those guys by example and their exposure, the X's and O's and aspect of it, and everyone buying into the game plan and the process.
Yeah, I definitely think there's been a decided advantage in coaching in this series. Like, I don't think you can dispute that one at all. But Britt, what have you seen? What's made Miami so good? What's got them up 3-0?
Buying into the culture.
That's it, Britt? Just the buy-in?
Celtics are not buying in to what the coach is saying, the culture. Oh, I'm sorry. They brought in game 7, but they're not buying in the rest of the way. No, I'm being smart. But no, I've said it in the beginning prior to the playoffs started. I don't know if you guys can remember, but I said it right here on this show. I said there's one team, regular season, but playoffs comes along. It's a different team. You had to be very careful with this team because they have a great coach in Eric Spoelstra. They have Pat Riley. They have Jimmy Butler, and they're going to lead this team. Eric Spoelstra, one thing I love about him, he don't care who the heck you are. And we've seen it with Jimmy Butler. He's going to dig into you. We don't care. We want to fight, let's fight. But we're going to fight on our way to victory. That's the point. And I think Jimmy Butler likes that type of coach. Other coaches are not like that. So they created that culture. And if you don't buy in, guess what they're going to do? They're going to ship you out. Yeah. So with the Heat, Pat Riley, you have no choice but to buy in. Point blank and period. Yeah. You're going to play as a team. Eric Spoelstra is like, I'm the coach, and you're going to listen to what I say. If not, we'll be gladly to trade you off somewhere because we're good to go with or without you. And I also said this because I respect Tyler Hero, but y'all know I'm not a huge fan of Tyler Hero. I don't think he's his great thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
I said this. I said there's one guy on the end of the bench that they put on the bench that said if he comes off that bench and he plays, he's a very hot shooter, and that's Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
Boy, has Duncan Robinson showed up during these playoffs, along with Matt Strutz and Gabe Vincent and so. But I said this. I said, I don't know. Do you guys remember me saying this?
I said,
do not give up on Duncan Robinson because he
hasn't been that guy.
Play.
He hasn't been that guy all season though. He hasn't been that
guy.
Yeah,
but he's that guy right now.
Yeah, why? Because of Jimmy Butler. Because of Jimmy Butler is leading those teams and he's instilling confidence in each and every person. That's why.
Whatever the reason he got there, the point is he's there.
Don't act
right?
like he's been doing it all year though. Don't act like he's been doing it all year. Because that's a Heat fan. We were ready to get him up out of there.
Are you disagreeing with me right now about Duncan Robinson? I'm trying to give Duncan Robinson his credit,
right,
and you taking that away. Like what kind of crap is that? You're just trying to
because he's not earning his contract. He hasn't earned his contract up until this point.
Okay, but I think he learned his lesson by sitting on the bench. They trusted him enough to put him in the game because I'm pretty sure it was other players they could have also put in there. Eric Spoelstra said, "I'm coming to you." I'm pretty sure when they needed him, he probably had known Eric Spoelstra. He probably had that conversation with them. And Duncan Robinson said, "You know what, Coach? I'm ready to go because I want to play and I want to make a contribution to my team." And that's what he's doing.
Yeah, only reason why he's in there because Victor Oladipo is hurt and Tyler Hero's hurt. That's the only reason why that man's playing.
I think right now you want him in there.
Oh yeah, but obviously he's hitting shots. You want anyone who can hit shots in there right now.
But he's been consistent.
Those two guys
with it. Okay.
Thank God.
And Britt, I think back to your point about Spoelstra, like and the culture and the buy-in. Like that's what I was trying to say earlier when I was saying like the way the coach sets the tempo of the organization. I think the Heat, Spoelstra, I think they do that better than anybody, holding every single player on the roster accountable. And they do that better than anybody in basketball. All right, y'all, we're going to play a little game called Agree or Disagree. I'm just going to make a statement. You tell me if you agree with it or if you disagree with it. Britt, I'm going to start with you.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler is a superstar. Agree or disagree? Jimmy Butler is a superstar.
Ooh. I mean, he's showing he is in the playoffs, right? That is so hard. You know, I'm a huge Jimmy. I feel like I'm gonna be biased in this. Like, I want to say yes. I really, really do. Forget it. I'm gonna say yes. I don't know. I like Jimmy Butler. I don't care what anybody says. I love Jimmy Butler when he was on Chicago. Honestly, I just loved his tenacity. Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say yes. People look at me like heck no, but
now you know what, Britt? I'm with you. Like if you would have asked me this 5-6 months ago, I probably would have said he's a star. He plays like a superstar sometimes, but I'm not ready to put him there. But I think at some point, like the way this guy has been throughout the playoffs, like that's what you want a superstar to be. Like
take over,
play when the money's on the line, like when it counts the most. I don't care if you're a superstar in October. AD, show up when it matters.
Jay, this is what I will say with Jimmy Butler. A couple years ago, maybe not. But you can see he has worked so hard on his game in the offseason. You could see the strides that he has taken. So I don't want to hear it when people say you hit your ceiling, you hit your max by a certain age. Jimmy Butler is saying, no, I could always still get better. And he has gotten better. His jump shot, even this year, has improved since the last couple years. So yeah, he's a superstar.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah, too. And the leadership, K-Walk, that you talked about, the way that he's led, I think that's got to put him in that superstar category. But this is your guy, K-Walk. What do you say?
Yeah, man. I mean, every time this question is posed to me, I always refer to the Rocky 2, where at the end of the series, end of that show in a movie, when Apollo Creed and Rocky would go in there, they say like, you listen, you're a great fighter. You fight great, but I'm a great fighter. I think Jimmy Butler, I think he plays great. I don't think he's a great player. I think he plays great.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm going to go with that all because I always say, if you guys haven't heard me say this before, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. So with that being said, I'm going to say no, he's not a superstar, but he plays superstar like basketball.
Okay.
Again, I'm being biased because I love the guy. I love everything about the guy. So when he left, I was mad as I don't know what. But look, I understand his reasoning for wanting to leave. Ben Simmons, Brett Brown was not his cup of tea. They did not choose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. That money was for Jimmy Butler, but he did not want to play with Brett Brown, be coached by Brett Brown, and play with Ben Simmons. And we all understand why now. So that's hindsight. But I was crying when he left, so it's okay. And I do want him to get a ring. So I'm being biased.
I thought for sure you were going yes here, man. Because when you think about the other superstars in the league, when the money's been on the line in the postseason, Butler's been better than all of them. He's been better than all of them.
That's why I said he plays great, though, but he's not a great player. He's not a superstar player, I should say.
I can't argue it. All right,
I think when it comes to the moment, he rises up to the moment where other superstars, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, I ain't gonna say Kyrie Irving.
Back on the streets.
Luka Doncic. They struggle. They struggle a little bit. So
sing the Philly song, sing the Rocky song. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I just think that's part of being a star, Britt, like a superstar. What you just said, like rising to the moment, right? Like that's why I have him. That's why I've elevated him. He wasn't a superstar for me before, but he is now. All right, K-Walk, I'm gonna start with you on this one. The Joker. The Joker is the best player in basketball. Agree or disagree?
Lord have mercy, man. I don't even want to look at this person on my right, up in the right hand corner on my screen, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, yes. I'm sorry, Brett. Yes, right now he is the best player on the planet right now.
I didn't hear what I'm sorry. I didn't hear the question.
The question was the Joker. The Joker is the best player in basketball. Agree or disagree? Go ahead, K-Walk.
I agree, Jay. I agree. He's been performing well. And like I said earlier, he's arguably could have been the MVP. And guys, I'm not looking at Brett right now. What I'm saying, I'm looking at strictly at you and Jay right now. But yes, Joker is the best basketball player. He's shown it throughout the playoffs. He's shown it last night with the triple-double. He's a walking triple-double, man. I mean, he just gets up each and every night, every game, and he just brings it. I mean, and he's a problem for anyone who's trying to guard him. So, yes, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't know how good he was. I haven't watched Denver a lot. And watching him in the playoffs, man, and he is a heck of a player. I mean, he is phenomenal. But Britt, would say you, Joker, best player in basketball? Agree or disagree?
I think right now he's definitely top 5. I don't know if I could say he's the best player because now you're putting him over the LeBrons, the Kevin Durant's, so forth. I don't know if I would put him over those type of players just yet. But is he an incredible basketball player? Abso-freaking-lutely. Not yet. I just think there's just certain situations that those guys have to deal with that he doesn't quite have to deal with because of he's more the perimeter guy and so forth. But I mean, we'll see. Like he doesn't get doubled or triple team as much as those guys do. And you got to be able to fight through that. Can he fight through those? Now, again, that's on the dummies of the other coaches staff are not doubling. But at the same time, if you do double, then they have enough role players surrounding them to beat you, right? They have the Jamal Murrays and so forth. And Jamal Murray actually helps Jokic. So when Jokic does get in trouble, which is not very often, Jamal Murray actually comes and helps him out. I don't know if he's the best player, but I know he's probably one of these. I would give him the smartest player. He plays smart. I think he's the smartest player in basketball. I don't know if he's the best player in basketball.
Yeah.
Or the more skilled player in basketball.
I think one of the reasons it's so hard to double him is because he's such a great passer. Like if you leave anything open, if there's any place he can fit the ball, he's going to find it. I don't know. I think he's better than like KD for me. This may be personal, but I've knocked KD down some pegs. Like I would put Joker ahead of KD. Obviously, historically, I think LeBron is better than Joker, but right now, I think you can make an argument that Joker's better than LeBron right now. Like if you start talking about Giannis, I think that's an interesting conversation. But so it's interesting. It's close. I don't know. I'm not even
But
going to
see,
answer
here's the
my own
thing
question.
with Giannis. Is Giannis' offensive game better than Jokic?
I like Joker's offensive game more than I like Giannis's.
But Giannis'
But
defensive game is
defensively,
better than
I like
Jokic.
Giannis better. Yeah. So that's an interesting conversation. All right, let's move on. Britt, I'm gonna stay with you here. Celtics should fire Joe Mazzulla. Agree or disagree?
They should have never fired Coach Udoka. Look, they lose this series, which is very hard to come back from 3-0. I don't think it's never happened in the history of the NBA. So, yeah, and look, he's a young coach, and maybe he just needs time. So they hired him for a reason. Look, the Celtics are known to hire very good coaches. They hired him for a reason. So maybe he just needs that time. But first thing he has to do is establish a culture. That's first and foremost. Then you got to establish roles, understanding who's the superstar, who's next in line, who's so forth and so forth. These players got to understand their roles. And he has to learn X's and O's. That's another thing. To me, they don't know X's and O's. He doesn't know X's and O's like a lot of the other coaches do. So to answer your question, I don't know how to answer that question. It's like I want to give him a chance, but to be down 0-3 to Miami Heat, that does not look good whatsoever. And I don't want to hear he beat the Sixers. He came, yeah, okay. If you want to say that, sure, because it did happen. But I say if they don't win, yes, he got to go.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I know he's a young coach, but he's been sitting on benches for a long time. Like, you should maybe have the X's and O's figured out. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on him. He looked lost to me. I don't know. Like, and kind of once you get that label, can you ever recover from it? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they fire him. But K-Walk, what say you? Celtics should fire Mazzulla. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, you know what, man? It's so hard for me. It kills me when people want to fire these guys because they don't get over that hump, if you will. You got to get to something in order to get through. You got to go through something in order to get to something. So with that being said, they're in the Eastern Conference Final. Granted, they're down 0-3, on the road. I mean, that's not a good look. And then, he went to Game 7, went to a Game 7 in the previous round. I forget what they did with the first round, but nonetheless, I just don't understand why these guys are all of a sudden starting to tap out of listening to the coaches. The deeper you get into the playoff run, the deeper you get into the playoff hunt, all of a sudden now the last thing that you should be doing the opposite. You should be dialing in instead of dialing out. So I don't understand that. So with that being said, to answer the question, Jay, I just guess with everything that's been going on, if Monty can go, everybody's got to go. So I'm going to say, he should be fired. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't like that for anybody's job. Yeah.
I was a little surprised about the Monty Williams fire. I thought he would at least get an opportunity to coach, get a full year to coach KD on this team with Devin Booker and so forth. That's a different situation.
But I guess some real pieces around him too.
Right. I guess the new ownership just wasn't having it. Yeah. So I was a little surprised about that one.
Yeah.
All the other ones I wasn't really surprised about.
Yeah, no, I agree. And K-Walk, side note, you saw the Celtics, man. They said, don't let us win one. Don't let us get one. Does that make you nervous at all, K-Walk?
No.
Yeah, that's part of my rant.
Okay. Well,
so I'm gonna save it.
No.
Let's save it. All right, that's all I have for that. Let's go to K-Walk's one ticket.
Wait, real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I ask, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this, but I really wanted to ask this. Am I allowed to ask one question before we go to K-Walk's?
It's your show, Britt. Ask whatever you want.
It's our show, so let's make that clear. Okay. I know what you meant. All right, I really want to ask this because we were talking about Jokic and him being such a great player.
Yep.
So as we all know, Carmelo Anthony just announced his retirement.
Yep.
And Jokic, apparently, we all know, not apparently, but he's leading his team to the NBA Finals, the first finals Denver has ever been to. They both wore 15. Well, Jokic currently wears 15. Carmelo Anthony wore 15.
Ooh.
Who gets the jersey retired?
Ooh.
Now, mind you, it's not sure if the Nuggets win or don't win. So that we can't factor in the win just yet. But if it was today, who gets that jersey retired?
Britt, I might be being a prisoner of a moment here, but I think I'm going to say Joker. Just especially if he leads them to a championship. And Carmelo was great in Denver, but didn't stay, end up leaving. So I'm going to say the Joker gets the number.
Okay, what?
Yeah, you know what? 15 is one of my favorite numbers because if you interlock 1 and a 5, it's the dollar sign. So that's money. So I'm going to go with the money guy, and I'm going to go with Jokic. I'm going to go with Jokic and say, yeah, especially if he wins a championship this year, you go with Jokic there.
Now, if Carmelo had a team around him, like Jokic, Jokic had the team around him, does that change your mind a little bit? Because he never really had. He had an older AI, but AI was a little older. He did kill that. AI did kill the league that first year when he went to Denver. But after that,
he controlled that.
It doesn't really change my mind, Britt, because I just think, I don't know, man. Some people end up with a team, some people die. I don't know. I feel like they had some decent teams. Didn't they have like Chauncey Billups? Wasn't he on the team with Melo?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they had some decent teams, not as good as this Denver team is now, obviously. And I think the competition in the West then was, pretty difficult as well. I don't think it would change my mind, Britt. I think the Joker is a better player than Carmelo overall, and so for me, he gets the number.
I'm not going to answer that question. So, okay, well, next to you.
Yeah, it's not going to change my answer either. Some great players just aren't meant to win championships. So we talked about Charles Barkley earlier. We could talk about Karl Malone, John Stockton, some of the Patrick Ewing. Some of these great players just weren't, put in the right situations, for whatever reason, to win a championship. So even if he been in a better situation and he won one.
They won maybe one, maybe it's a different conversation.
Yeah, but if he was surrounded by and still didn't win, no, I'm still going to give it to Jokic.
I give Carmelo Anthony his flowers because I really think people forget how good of a team.
I agree with that.
How good of a player he was. A great player. He was the guy that did so many things, score, rebounds. He did so many things, and he brought his team to the playoffs. It's unfortunate he couldn't get further. But he has to get way more credit than that. But if I had to choose, there's actually a rule where you could give them to both of them. So you can have two.
Well, there you go.
Can retire both of them, their names. So I would retire both.
There you go. All right. K-Walk, let's get to your segment, man. The one ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with this segment, K-Walk's going to set up a few events, 3-4 events, and we only have one ticket that we got to choose. It's called K-Walk's One Ticket. K-Walk, take it away.
Yeah, I went back and forth with this one, ladies and gentlemen, but I had 2 one tickets, but I'll go with this one. So the first one, we got this is all about the game-winning play. And you'll see where I'm going with this. 1984, we had Boston College versus Miami, the Doug Flutie Hail Mary. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember it. Britt,
okay, I know Jay. I know you. Yeah.
I was watching it. I was watching it live. I was watching it live. Britt was
you said 84.
Yeah,
I don't think I was thought about yet.
But I'm pretty sure you saw that. You saw that many times. Doug Flutie. No.
She's
all right. Hold on. No, I'm getting ready to look it up.
Right all right. This is why I was flipping the coin.
It was Doug Flutie. Oh, wait a minute.
84.
All right. You don't have to know that. I'm gonna give you the other 4. I'm
Give us the other ones.
Other 3, I should say. All right, 1995 Eastern Conference semifinals. Reggie Miller, 8 points in 9 seconds versus the Knicks. I know you remember that one, Britt. I know you remember that one. All right, if you don't remember the 84 one, you remember this one, Britt. 1981 NFC Championship between the Cowboys and the 49ers. The catch, Dwight Clark. Back of the end zone.
Yep.
And number 4, we got, and Britt might not like this one, but I had to bring it to you.
Kawhi Leonard?
1993, Joe Carter, Game 7, walk-off home run versus your Phillies.
Mm-mm.
Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home. You'll never make a bigger hit. You know, remember that one, Britt? All right. So, all right. I thought Britt. You know what? Let's do this because I had a backup, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
has no impact on me. I'm
All right.
sorry. It has no impact
Let's
on
skip
me.
that one, and this is why I had a backup.
You could have did the Kawhi Leonard one. That might have had a better reaction.
We did that one already. I did that one already.
Oh,
All right, let's go to this one. This is not sports related. This is entertainment here, ladies and gentlemen. We got live in concert. Got Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Usher, or Janet Jackson. Live in concert in their prime. They could play. They could be 25, whatever, and they could still play all their songs.
Can we make a substitution?
No, absolutely not, Britt.
Can we add one?
Here. No, absolutely not, Britt. This is my one thing. All right. So we got Michael Jackson. I know, right? Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Usher, and Janet Jackson live in concert. One ticket. What's your venue choosing? Britt, I'll start with. Actually, you know what, Jay? I'll start with you on this one.
It's easy for me.
Okay. I figured it's that's why I said that.
Y'all may or may not be shocked by this, but I've never gone to a concert in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
I am not a concert guy, but if I had one ticket, I feel like this was pretty. For me, it's going to be one of the Jacksons. I can live without Beyonce and Usher. It'd be one of the Jacksons. I kind of want to go see Janet. But how do you pass up Mike? I mean, how do you not go to Mike? So I gotta cash in my ticket to see Mike.
The red velvet or the velvet road tour.
Yeah. I'm going to see Mike. K-Walk. I'm going to see Mike.
All right. Britt, what say you? Britt's gonna be outside. I know this.
I figured you was gonna say that, Jay. Look, I've been to a Beyonce concert. Not because I'm a huge fan of Beyonce or anything, you know, but I had to respect her. I have to give her all the respect in the world. Girl could perform. Like, she's right up there. Yeah, but
I agree.
Before I give my choice, we got a couple here. So DJ June Gemini. That's actually my friend from high school. Michael Jackson. Okay. And then we got the 5, 4, 3, 2. 1.
Okay, Mom.
Well, for me, that's Janet Jackson. For those who don't know, for me, it's always either two. One of the Jacksons, of course, but I have to go with the older guy. And I love me some Janet, but Michael Jackson, come on, he puts on a show of all shows. Did we not watch the Super Bowl?
Right.
You know, you got to go see somebody's show when he got grown men passing the heck out.
Yeah.
Like, that's on another level.
Yeah.
So got to see Michael Jackson.
All right. Yeah, man. Jay, I was right along with you, bro. You and I are always here on this. But yeah, I wanted to see Janet Jackson. I mean, I watched one of her concerts, man, and I was like, why can I go into that? She pulled people out of the audience and just was. Whew, it's hard to give anything to get that.
Still does it. You better go now.
I know, right? But yeah, I'm going with MJ, man. I got to see. What's that? Oh, my wife already knows. Heather already knows. My wife already knows. She knows how I feel about Janet Jackson. Hey, that's grandfather then. but yeah, I'm going MJ here, man. I'm going MJ. I want to see everything from Off the Wall. Beat It, Thriller, all that good stuff, man. I want to see. So I'm going to MJ there. Yeah. So that's my good stuff. But Brett, I'm glad you were too young to know. That's why I said I flipped the coin. That's why I asked you guys one or two. But I figured it would be this one. But good stuff there.
Yeah, that was good, K-Walk. That was a good one, man. That was excellent. That's K-Walk's one ticket. All right, y'all, let's get into our rants real quick here. Every week we like to give a rant. You get 1 minute to just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Could be positive, could be negative. The floor is yours for 1 minute. Okay, Walk, I'm going to go first tonight. I'm going to start this thing off tonight. I want to rant about, and hopefully I don't think any of you guys have this, but I want to talk about the WNBA roster spots. The WNBA needs to expand. They don't have enough teams, and they have too many good players. Bree Bill, cut. Destiny Henderson, cut. Abby Myers was the 11th pick in the draft, cut. Alexis Morris from LSU, cut. Monica Cesano from Iowa, cut. All these players drafted in the first round, none of them making WNBA rosters. There's not enough teams. There's not enough roster spots. WNBA needs to expand their bench to 15 players, and they got to add a couple more teams. The popularity is there. You guys talked about it. Maybe put a team in Philly. That'd be a great place to have a WNBA team. But when you have all these college stars that aren't making rosters, it hurts the growth of the game. So WNBA, we got to figure it out. We got to find a way to keep these players on rosters.
Meek Mill, Kevin Hart, somebody get together and start a team in Philly. It should already be on here.
Baltimore too. I like Baltimore too.
Right.
Too many good players not able to play. All right, K-Walk, I'm gonna come to you, man. I know you got something good for us tonight. What you got?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief, guys, as much as I possibly can. I'm just going to go with, we talked about it earlier. We got to mention it, Jay, and that's Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart said, don't let us get one. Like, you know what? Right now, the Heat are up 4 right now in the first quarter. So, like, they're going to hold you to that, guys, and they're going to do their best to not give you one. But come on now. What is that, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart? Now, game elimination game. Now you want to say, don't let us get one. What happened to game 1? What happened to game 2? What happened to game 3? Come on, now. We ain't trying to hear that right now. I just hope that the Miami Heat can put it away right now. Right? Good gracious. Really don't let us get one. Then what? All right. So we won't, we give you one. Oh, I say we. Now that's the fan. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, come to play, and you better win tonight with all that talking.
Good stuff, K-Walk. I just want to see more basketball. So I'm kind of hoping Boston can steal one tonight just because I want to see a little bit more basketball, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Heat are going to put them away. All right, Britt, what you got for us? The floor is yours.
Mine was basically the same thing as K-Walk. It's a little different, but it's with the Celtics. And I remember one game, Jason Tatum decided to wear a T-shirt and say, humbly, I'm one of the best basketball players in the world. Mm-hmm. Right now, humbly, you're one of the worst basketball players in the world because your team is about to lose. And the way you're playing right now, it don't look too good. So you can humbly take yourself home and go sit next to me, my 6'15", and join us right on the couch. Okay, so come humbly come over here. Oh, wait. And Al Horford, I got one for you.
Yeah.
That's what I should have.
He was never a talker. All of a sudden this year he a talker. Go sit down somewhere.
Yeah, that's good, Britt. That's right on point. But when Jimmy hit him with that, that was cold.
I want to know what he said too. I want to know what Al Horford said because Al Horford took his mouthpiece out and said something to him. I don't know what he was saying. Like, what are you going to say, bro? What are you going to say?
Yeah, that was good. That was good. All right, y'all. Let's do Who's Ball, and then we'll get out of here. Every week we want to shout out a team, player, coach, anybody, just somebody who's been getting it done. Britt, who you got this week? Who's balling?
I kind of felt bad for the brother. So, but he sure enough balled out. You know, I was torn between a couple guys. I had to go with the old man. I know they lost. I don't know what it sounded like. K-Walk is getting cold beer or something out of the fridge. I don't know what's going on.
No, definitely not.
He getting ready for the game or something.
Nah, I got something for you guys.
He's getting a prop.
All right. But I had to give him props. Like LeBron James. I know they lost. And it's hard to give us his props in balling. Guy is 38, almost 39 years old, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. He tried to play so hard and help and make this team win, but the role players weren't having it. Anthony Davis did not have a good game. But LeBron, he balled the heck out. He was balling, absolutely. The rest of the team, Anthony Davis, did not.
Yeah,
I feel bad, though. I feel bad.
Love LeBron or hate LeBron, you can't. He played a heck of a game last night. He played a good game. Sure. K-Walk, who you got?
Yeah, man. Jay, I was getting my prop ready for my rant. No, definitely not. That's actually for the show. What you were talking about, Britt. I'm gonna do that after the show. But I'm going with my New York Yankees, man. A lot of people counted them out. A lot of people counted them out. They were hurt. Stanton was out. Judge was out with the hip injury. The pitcher that we brought, I can't call him young, Rendon was out. He's starting to throw right now. Severino's back. They're trying to get my man Domingo Germán with the substance. He's suspended for 10 games. But right now, the Yankees are 8-2 right now, and they've been playing outstanding. Pitch has been great. The bullpen has been great right now, and the offense stealing bases is something that has been something we've been missing for quite some time. So with that being said, I'm going to use my prop here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say the Yankees have been balling.
All right, good stuff there, K-Walk. I got to give it to the Denver Nuggets, man. They just swept the Lakers. The Joker, Murray, the bench, the coaching, the whole organization, man. They've just had a great series. So I got to shout out the Nuggets.
They had to clean up that dust off the basketball court. Just get rid of that dust.
All right, y'all. Good stuff. Let's get out of here. But Britt, before we do, tell the people where they can find you and if there's anything you're looking forward to this week.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Britne Monique. Is at the corner of my screen, bottom corner of my screen. Basketball I'm looking forward to. The finals is getting ready to start. Actually, we will be back on the show before the finals officially start, that's too long. WNBA is ramping up. I'm kind of in and out of baseball because it's just a long season right now. My Phillies, like they did last year, first 4 months of the season, they're just very inconsistent. So I'll pay attention to that in the summer, Red October. But right now it's basketball.
Yep. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Britt. Basketball for me. I don't watch any baseball really, but I'll watch as much NBA, WNBA as I can. And you guys can find me at Jason Talk Sports on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay, Walt.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know my what you calls out there. I'll update that for you next week, guys. But you can catch me on at Twitter at Kevin Walker 142, Instagram Walker.142, and Facebook Kevin Walker, of course. And tomorrow night on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. Wherever you find your podcast, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us again. Sports Talk with K Walk and E Scott. Great entertainment show there. We got a new segment that we called K Walk and E Scott cares when no one else cares. And what that is, ladies and gentlemen, is we have someone write in and we give love advice. So the love doctors are in
there. Wow.
So for sure. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. We introduced it last week. So check it out. We talk sports too, ladies and gentlemen. So check that out for sure. And again, those links will be on the platforms that I mentioned. What I'm looking for is Britt mentioned to it, WNBA. I told you guys, I'm into it, man. I'm into it this year. I even bought the package, the League Pass, the WNBA League Pass. Even if I don't need it, I'm still contributing to the WNBA because I feel like they're not getting their just due by any stress. So I'm gonna contribute as much as I possibly can there.
Okay, well,
and go ahead.
Who's your team? You kept between Mercury and Liberty and all. Who's your team? We need to hear it right now before we sign off. Who's your team?
Britt, I can't. I'm a loyalist. I'm going with the Mercury. I'm sticking it out with the Mercury because I got to be a loyalist. But right there on the cusp, ladies and gentlemen, I am a Liberty fan as well.
No, he's still Britt. He's still two.
That was two. I need one. Mercury.
I'm going with
that's it. Mercury. Okay.
I'm going with the Mercury. Don't let me down, my lady. Don't let me down. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. I want everyone to have a safe and a happy Memorial Day as well, for sure. Go Heat, by the way.
All right, good stuff, guys. Good stuff, K-Walk. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Share it. Spread the news. We're trying to grow this show as much as we can, and we appreciate you guys helping us out in any way possible. We'll be back here live next week, 7 p.m. So for Britne Jones and Kevin Walker, I'm Jason Collins, and we'll see you next week.
As a Sixers fan, we support the Heat. Go Heat, you guys.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Britne Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.